all that stays the same pretty much except for my girl, She-Hulk. So what's the deal, Marvel? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Comically Boston podcast. I'm your host, Big Cam, and today is another Monday weekly nerdy news. So we're going to be recapping and talking about all the nerdy news that happened over the last week. But by the end of today's episode, we will be answering the question, did Marvel do She-Hulk super dirty? I mean, if you guys know me, I love my girl Tatiana Maslany, and Jen Walters' She-Hulk is fucking awesome. So I gotta know why Marvel did my girl dirty, but we'll talk about that by the end. So let's jump right into it with some posters. There is a new TV show coming to Prime December 10th, and that is called Secret Level. And this is a weird revolutionary gaming anthology series where each episode is like a different game. There's like a Dungeons and Dragons episode, there's a Warhammer 40,000 episode, there's a bunch of them. There's a John Wick is in there, I think, at one point. So I'm very curious to see what that show is about, because it's gonna have nods to a bunch of different games, but then they made it into a TV show that all like interconnects somehow. So I don't know what's good with that show, but Secret Level, December 10th, will you be checking that out on Amazon Prime? I know I probably will. Also coming out here in December 20th in theaters, Sonic 3. And of course they're bringing in Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog, and capping out the foursome there, you got Tails, Knuckles, Sonic, and now Shadow. And I think anybody that's a real Shadow fan, that movie's going to try and break you. It really is going to show us the origin story of Shadow and make it all sad and just all tears and stuff. No good. But they're doing some live action stuff. The trailer for the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie came out, and it's going to be coming out in June 13th for IMAX as well. But the trailer was picking up a bunch of sparks, because all over the internet, people that are clearly fans of the animated movies were like, it's a one-to-one parallel, it looks so perfect. And then other people were like, it looks exactly the same, what's the point? You know, like, if it looks exactly like the other movie, why not just watch the other movie? Which I understand both sides of that complaints, but I don't know why they keep doing movies like this that were perfectly fine animated. They have to feel the need to do it live action. Like Moana was huge. Moana 2 is about to be huge as well, and they're doing a live action Moana. Like, I don't think anyone needed that really, but sure, why not? Speaking of live action movies that no one really needs, but we're getting anyways, Lilo and Stitch live action. This is the first poster we get for it with our boy Stitch on the cover. I do like that his nose almost looks like my Frenchie's nose, and it's like kind of wet, you know. But May 23rd, will you be going to check out this movie in theaters? I might. I probably won't, but I might. I'll probably watch it at home when it comes out. But rumor around Marvel right now is that Hawkeye Season 2 is definitely in the works, and I've just recently been rewatching the Hawkeye Season 1 because it's trying to get myself into Christmas season a little bit more. And they got Lucky, the one-eyed pizza dog, Clint Barton, Kate Bishop, right? Like, I love the two of them together, and I love that this was a Christmas story, and week to week you got to experience like Christmas music and Marvel and all that kind of stuff going on. It's just awesome. Yelena Belova's in there, like, how can you not love Florence Pugh? So, and then rumor has it that Season 2 is going to bring in Clint's brother, Barry Barton. So, most likely, probably just trying to lighten the load for Jeremy Renner there, because the dude did just get ran over by a snowcat like a year or two ago, and he's still recovering, but he is back to acting, so that's a good sign. So, I would love to see Hawkeye Season 2, especially if it's going to be like next Christmas year. I would love for another Christmas show from Marvel like this. Not like, what if Season 2 and 3 are pretty sure coming out over Christmas. Season 2 last year, 3 this year. They didn't hit the same as Hawkeye back in 2020 or 2021, whenever this came out. I loved this. The last 2 years haven't been the best. Speaking of another Season 2 that is currently in the works, in the first image we got to see of that, MONARCH, Legacy of the Monsters Season 2 is back, and I believe this is right at the end of Season 1 is what this was. So they have Jeeps, MONARCH Jeeps back. They have this little like pod that they came back from like the past, I believe. That show was really interesting because it had Kurt Russell playing an older version of a character and his son Wyatt Russell playing the younger version. So like that was kind of cool in the sense where like two guys got to play the same character, but they were father and son, and it worked, right? Like you genuinely bought that the character was him as a younger man versus him as an older man. Which, I mean, Wyatt Russell's probably just going to be Kurt Russell when he's older anyways, right? Like, and last night I watched the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix with Kurt Russell, so movie review coming to the channel soon. That's a good one. I had never seen that one. Set in Lowell, Massachusetts for a quick minute, but I enjoyed it. But moving on, the next piece of news comes from Apple TV Plus, and the news is that Wolves 2 has been canceled, and that's initially what we heard, but then director Jon Watts decided to jump into the midst, and of course Jon Watts, director of the upcoming Skeleton Crew for Star Wars. That show's going to be coming out in December. He also did the Spider-Man trilogy for Tom Holland. Jon Watts is a very good director. I actually really enjoy his movies, and I really enjoyed Wolves, but the reason the sequel isn't happening is because of this. Jon Watts said that he canceled the Wolves sequel after Apple took away the first film's theatrical release and moved it straight to streaming. I quietly returned the money they gave me for the sequel. Apple didn't cancel the Wolves sequel. I did, because I no longer trusted them as a creative partner. So, honestly, mad respect to Jon Watts. He was like, I don't need your money, I don't need Apple, and I don't need you saying the movie's canceled when I'm the one that returned the money and will not be making a Wolves 2. Very ballsy by Mr. Watts there, but I respect it. So, shout out to you, Jon Watts. A movie currently in the works right now with Guillermo del Toro set to direct, and the movie's coming to Netflix in 2025, starring Oscar Isaac as Dr. Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster. And here is a first Vanity Fair look, and very interesting stuff here. You can see Oscar Isaac there in the kind of overall suspenders and the white shirt, and then on the table there, that like ripped calf and thigh and skinny body, that has to be Jacob Elordi becoming Frankenstein's monster. Oof. And Jacob Elordi is a big guy, so maybe that's where they're going with this. They got Oscar Isaac's probably about 5'10", maybe 6 foot, and Jacob Elordi's probably 6'6", 6'4" at least, you know, put a 2-inch platform shoe on him, 6'6". Now he's walking around like, I don't know. It's been a long time since there's been a Frankenstein movie that was any good, right? So Guillermo del Toro, I have faith in him. I think he's a great director, so that movie looks very interesting. I don't know if this next movie is going to be interesting, but Fast 11 is currently filming, and you can see they have a Challenger out in the streets. They got their camera car. It looks like they might be filming in LA again, bringing the movie series back to its roots. 11 movies later, God, I hope they don't make 12. I mean, the first 2 are like the best, and then 5 is really good, and like the one where you lose Paul Walker is fine, 6 or 7, whichever one that is. But like Fate of the Furious is okay. F9 I hated. F10 was like whatever. It got too far away from the original, but I hope Fast 11 is the culmination, if you would. I hope it ends. Now You See Me 3 just wrapped filming, so that shall be coming out in the next coming year, and I believe the whole cast is returning, even Isla Fisher from the first movie. I really like the Now You See Me movies. Like the magic robbery kind of thing, and combining the two, the cast is phenomenal. So, you know, would you be here for a Now You See Me 3? Now You See Me 1 and 2 reviews are up on the channel, so go check those out, I guess, if you haven't. The next bit of news I have is the directors and number of episodes for Skeleton Crew. Of course, directed by Jon Watts, but the way television works, I think Jon Watts is the writer and like showrunner, and then he directed a couple episodes, but per episode there's a few different directors. So episode 1 was directed by Jon Watts, episode 2 was directed by David Lowery from The Green Knight, which is a pretty damn good movie. Episode 4 was directed by the Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very good directors, so I'm very curious about that. They're also Oscar-winning directors for Everything Everywhere All at Once, so episode 4 is probably going to be a banger. Episode 5, Jack Schreier? He's from the Thunderbolts movie coming out next year. Episode 6, Bryce Dallas Howard. She's from The Mandalorian. She also starred alongside Chris Pratt in the Jurassic World movie. Episode 7 is going to be directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who just did the Twisters movie over the last year. That's in my top 10. That was a really good movie. And episode 8, so the first and last episode of the 8-episode Skeleton Crew series shall be directed by John Watts, which is awesome. And I just can't wait to see this crew, like the Jude Law of it all, the Max Rebo kid, the girl with the cybernetics over her eyes. And then, you know, it's just going to be like a kid Harry Potter, E.T., Star Wars experience. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. I'll be covering that on the channel in December, so stay tuned, y'all. If you're looking forward to another Star Wars show, I know I had some pretty good traction on my Acolyte videos, although the world didn't like the Acolyte all that much, but comment below, will you be watching Skeleton Crew? Speaking about Star Wars Season 3 for Visions, and Star Wars Visions was awesome. Season 1 had this phenomenal black and white with this red glowing samurai, like good guy but bad guy, and I need to know more of his backstory, right? They had a few other episodes like The Elder, and there was a few Star Wars Vision episodes that hit so goddamn hard that I need a full movie of this so quick I would have greenlit that shit. And I'm hoping Season 3 touches back on a little bit of those, because Season 2 kind of just went in its own route again, and it's very interesting because it's telling Star Wars stories, but in a one-off kind of short story fable kind of way, instead of like a TV show. This is canon, this is canon, this is canon. This just gives us like a different glimpses into the galaxy and across the galaxy. But all of them are very fascinating stuff, including the and it's much like the Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith type of shorter 15-minute, you know, 30-minute maybe max episode lengths. But this has been a huge week for movies. Just coming out this week alone, we had Red 1, Gladiator 2, which I went to see in movie, spoiler-free movie review is currently up on the channel, so go check that out because Gladiator 2 was awesome. And a movie I wanted to see, but then I looked up and it found out that it's 2 hours and 40 freaking minutes, is Wicked. And it's having great reviews. In my initial look when I looked, it had 130 reviews for the critic score and 2,500 plus for the audience score. Audience score is 99% for Wicked and 92% critic score. So 92% critic score and 99% audience score is insane. And Wicked is looking like it's going to be another huge blockbuster movie of the year. And, you know, shout out Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And I honestly want to see this mostly for the cast, and the visuals apparently are so colorful and beautiful. So I really want to see it, but I don't want to sit 3 hours in a theater of a musical with a bunch of random strangers that might be annoying. You know, like I picture little girls or kids, you know, families going to stuff like this, and then I'm just sitting over in the corner trying to watch it as myself. Like, I don't know if that'll work out. So this might be an at-home watch for me. But comment below, do you think I should go see it in theaters and have a theatrical experience for this, or should I wait? If you've seen it, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below as well. But moving on to the final topics of today, getting into some DC and then finishing it out with some Marvel news. Creature Commandos comes out December 5th, so we're only about a week or two away from this, and I am super excited to see. From James Gunn comes the new DCU, and the first thing we get to see in James Gunn's new DC universe is Creature Commandos. And most of these actors that are voicing these characters will most likely, if not guaranteed, to play a live-action version of these characters. Confirmed specifically, at least, Captain Flag, Rick Flag Sr., I believe, is Rick Flag's father, is going to be played by Frank Grillo. He's going to be making his appearance in Creature Commandos. Then he's going to be in Superman coming out next year. And then in August, coming out after that, we're going to have Peacemaker Season 2. He's appearing in all 3 of those so far. So James Gunn likes himself some Frank Grillo. But will you be watching Creature Commandos? Should I cover that on the channel? Comment that thing down below, because I think I should. But the upcoming slate now for DC, as far as what James Gunn has yapped about through the Creature Commandos press, is that Creature Commandos is first in December. Then in July, we get Superman, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe over Christmas and by the latest, probably the Super Bowl trailer for Superman. Or maybe we get a Christmas trailer and then 2 months later we get a different, more heavy Super Bowl trailer to look at Superman. But I also don't know if Warner Brothers has the money to do a Super Bowl trailer for Superman. It might be good for marketing, but I don't know if they have it in their budget, you know what I mean? But right after Superman in July, we have in August Peacemaker Season 2. And then in June of 2026, with Millie Alcock playing Supergirl, we have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And then with Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan and Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart, we have the Lanterns TV show that should be coming out, as far as what James Gunn said, around the same time as Supergirl. And he also teased that there's other stuff that we don't know about that's in the works. So I'm sure The Authority and some other shows that James Gunn would love to make is in the works, because he can greenlit them now because he's his own boss, which is just great for him. You know, he was talking about, he was like, yeah, great executive greenlit Creature Commandos. And that was himself, you know, like. But I'm real excited for that DC slate. But to talk about what's coming up here with Marvel, we got Ironheart finally coming out next year, and I'm still very interested to see more of the show, a deeper trailer, you know, hear about what's more going on. But I am very excited to see Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams back, and to get to see this Iron Man suit behind her, because I believe they did it mostly practical, you know, and they were able to build this suit, and it looks and feels so much like the OG Iron Man suit. I can't wait to see this thing in the background of this picture here. Like, it's just, I'm so excited to see her Iron Man suit and see what she does with it. But the main topic of today, the one I was trying to discuss at the beginning of this episode, Marvel updated their banner for Disney Plus. And the only person they changed in their most recent update was they swapped out my girl She-Hulk for Deadpool. So what is that? Is that a fourth wall joke? Is that a mean pun? Is that a nod to their Lego movie they just did recently? And they come back at the end in the post-credit scene and She-Hulk beats up Deadpool for trying to take her spot type of thing? Well, he took her spot. And then everyone was like kind of pissed about this. But then we go back to 2019, right? So they've changed this a few times. 2019 was the original banner, and it had Sam L. Jackson's Nick Fury, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Man, Cap, Thor, and Black Widow, of course, the original 6 Avengers and Nick Fury. Then in 2021, we got an update, and we got a Shuri, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, a Sam Wilson Captain America, Shang-Chi in the bottom left, and then to the right of Anthony Mackie's Captain America, you got Loki in the TVA jacket, Black Widow. Wait, so 2021, who is that? T'Challa Black Panther up in the top left? Because Shuri's bottom right, and then you got Thor over there. So it's 2020. What is 2021? I thought that was middle pandemic. Or I guess 2022 was when Wakanda Forever came out, so maybe they were trying to tease us there in 2021. But they updated it again in 2023 last year, and they added She-Hulk, they added Yelena, they slid Scarlet Witch in between Loki and Cap. They added Nick Fury back because of Secret Invasion, I guess, and then they put a different picture of Captain Marvel next to him, Shuri on the edge, and Shang-Chi, and all that stays the same pretty much except for my girl She-Hulk. So what's the deal, Marvel? What's the deal? You took our girl She-Hulk off there? Are we supposed to forget about Tatiana Maslany being a flawless She-Hulk? Come on now, you can't do me like that. She's my girl. I need her back. I want her back. I need to see her. Now, the only thing that would have pissed me off more was if they took off Yelena. You know what I mean? Like, if anyone should get taken off in 2024 here, I mean, Shang-Chi hasn't been seen since 2021. Why is his picture still exactly the same? Captain America is about to get Brave New World. Wanda's supposed to be dead, so why isn't that Agatha? You know what I mean? Loki is no longer at the TVA, so you could give him his God of Loki outfit and put him on the throne. She-Hulk obviously hasn't been back since She-Hulk Season 1. I want to see a Season 2, but I also think she might show up in a Daredevil Born Again or even Captain America Brave New World. Very possibility. I mean, anytime you need a lawyer at this point in the MCU, She-Hulk or Daredevil could show up at any time, right? Like, they both seem like actors. Like, Tatiana Maslany seems like she's available for it at any time. Same with Charlie Cox. The only thing with She-Hulk instead of Daredevil is She-Hulk cost them a lot of money in visual effects, where I feel like they can do Daredevil very, very practically. You know, toss on the suit, make Charlie Cox do a flip, make a stunt guy do a couple flips, bam, you got the shot. You know, like, She-Hulk, almost entirely CGI, adds a lot of money to the budget. Maybe that's why they've avoided doing that show, but hey, I still want to see more. You know, She-Hulk was awesome, and people hate on that show for no reason. But just to end out today's episode, what movie do you think will take over the holiday box office and come out as the leading box office for Thanksgiving 2024? Shall it be Red 1, which isn't even on this list? Probably not. But will it be Moana 2, Gladiator 2, or Wicked? My money for box office goes strictly to Moana 2, mostly because kids can't buy their own tickets. So if one kid wants to go see this, it's almost guaranteed at least one or two parents is going to see it with them. So you're talking a minimum of 2 or 3 tickets just for one kid to go see this movie. All that stuff adds up. Perfect example, I went to see Gladiator 2 by myself, you know? So comment below which of these movies will you be seeing yourself. If you want to follow my other social medias, links down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.